So this next step, I really want you to focus on this because this will help you to take an existing site and make your own site out of it. Now keep in mind that this is just the full-blown every possible thing I can do inside of this installation. So what I want to do now is, let's say that you want to create a simple About Me page. So I'm going to select About Me. And that's going to bring up the About Me page. Not necessarily About Me, but what was in there by default. Okay, now, cool stuff. Because we installed that duplicate post right on the fly, we can benefit from that. So from here, I can say, hey, make a new draft of this page. Okay, so I'm going to select make a new draft of this page. It's going to go right into here. And I'm just going to call that About Me version 2. And come over here and publish that. Now, in this particular case, we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to take advantage of the built-in theme settings using I'm not going to go to my default editor. Before I shared with you how simplistic it was to work with shortcode and replace that shortcode. Okay, now this page has already been designed, and here's what's happening. Now, this is something we haven't talked about before. In subsequent videos, we will be creating a page completely from scratch and putting in our own content. So let's just examine this for a second. So I'm going to hit Preview Changes, which is going to bring up that new page. All right, so we're going to use this as a for instance to build our page. So everything you see here on the front end of the page is the back end right here. So I just want you to get a visual understanding of what this is. Okay? So let's say if I click right wherever you put your cursor, you're going to get different options. So as an example, if I don't want this, I can delete this element. Exact vocabulary. Now, for those of you that use Visual Composer, this is sort of similar to Visual Composer, but this is Avanda's version of the Visual Composer with their particular theme. Okay? So I can trash, I can duplicate this. So let's actually do that. Let's have a little bit of fun. And I'm just going to hit right here. Who am I? We'll just put I am great. And if I can learn how to spell great, that'd be a good thing. And I'm going to save that change. And I'll update the save. Well, actually, apparently I can't. I can't type now, can I? I am great. Exclamation point. So if I update those changes and come up here and refresh the page, because keep in mind I have to refresh the page. Now here's something I want to share with you. Unlike Visual Basic, when it will duplicate it right underneath, what this did is it put it down here, I am great. Well, that's nice too, but that's not what I wanted to do. So what I would have to do now is come down here and simply take this, okay, so I can take this and move this wherever I want. So I'm going to take that and move that back up to where I need to go, which is right underneath here. Then I can save the changes. Update the changes. Come up here, refresh the page. Now it's going to keep the same principles of what I had. Okay, so you get the idea. Enough of that silliness. So it's going to keep the same properties that you had here, and I noticed that they misspelled this word, so let's go and correct that. Just kidding. All right, so let's close out of this window. Let's go back into our visual design, and let's just trash that. So here's what I want you to pay attention to, and here's what I want you to get excited about. Yes, we're going to go into great detail of how we can create things from scratch, but keep in mind the existing layouts have been professionally done by designers who know what the heck they're doing. So if you want to make changes and do your own thing from scratch, that's great, but I'm a big fan of taking something that already exists. Picasso said something interesting. Big fan of Picasso. Picasso said, great artists borrow, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So I have no shame in stealing somebody else's idea as far as design work goes, because hey, why reinvent the wheel? And if you think you're the greatest designer since sliced bread, let me tell you something. It's been done before. In fact, it was really good design. It was probably done back in the 20s and 30s when Bauhaus and people like that were up and running. So that's a whole other statement there. All right, now let's say I want to put my own picture in there. In fact, let's put a logo in there. So I'm going to hit edit. So if I hit the edit button, I go and edit that media, and it takes you right to add media. So I'm going to take and replace that. Now, what I'd probably want to do is get the size of that. So I'm going to hit the edit button for size purposes. Actually, it's not showing me the size here. All right, let's close out of that for a second. Now, let me share with you a cool trick. Now, if you do this in Windows, I believe you have to have an add-on. But here's a little cool trick in Macintosh, because you'll notice when I clicked on that, based on this particular interface, it didn't tell me the size of that. Now, I can go to Add Media, by the way, and I can select that picture, and it will show me the size of that picture. But let's say I don't want to have to go through and scroll down and everything else. I can also come up here and upload it to this page. Okay, and again, it's not showing me anything. So let me share with you a really cool Mac trick. If I hit Command, Control, Shift, it's all three. Command, Control, Shift, 4, what that's going to do is I can now make a screen capture that copies to my clipboard. Screen capture that copies to my clipboard. Now keep in mind that this size is very arbitrary. So again, Command, Control, Shift, 4, and I'm going to copy something that copies to my clipboard. Now, if you want to get this exact, it's probably 580 by 390. So if you want to finesse that right there, well, anyway, just change that once it goes into Fireworks. I just want to share with you that that's just a little back trick. If you don't know the size of it offhand, and you don't want to scroll through your media library. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to go into Fireworks. So in Fireworks, I'm going to make myself a new file, and I just want to round that off to the size. I want to make that 580 by 390. And paste. Okay, now, no disrespect to this guy, but we really don't want him. Or let's say you want him, but maybe you're supposed to be on a transparent background. Okay, so let's actually just go with this. Let's just go with this. Let's actually, we can flip him inside of WordPress. We can flip him, etc., etc. But let's put something else totally different there. So let's come down here and let's go grab one of our other images. Now here's a little production technique too. If you can't see these images here, what you can do is click on the larger thumbnail area, and then you can just scroll through here and pick the one that you want. So I'm going to go with, let's go with this one. That's more of a corporate photo. And I'm just going to put that right in there. And this size, okay, we'll just go with that size, just the way it is. I'll save that. We'll just call that About Me. Now, very important step. There's no reason to make this a PNG file because it has no transparency, so we're going to export this as a JPEG. So export this as a JPEG and export the file and save the file. So now when I go back into WordPress, so now I can just add media. So I'm going to go select the file, navigate my way to where the files are kept, the JPEG file, not the PNG file. See the big difference in size here. I certainly want the JPEG file, and insert it to the page. Okay, now once again, I want this to be the same size. It didn't come in that way. So I select right here, I go to the actual size. I don't want this to link to a media file, and I'm all done. Or I can have it linked to my portfolio or whatever it is I want to do. And I update that and save the changes. So therefore, if I scroll down, that's now in place. I update the changes from here. I come up to preview changes, and there you go. Okay, so that's how easy it was to do it visually. Okay, so let's move forward for a second. All right, in our next video, because I want to keep these videos short and sweet to the point, I will share with you how to edit a checklist.